Hi everyone, right, just checking in with latest MT-10 blog. Now, since last we spoke, I've managed to get quite a few miles under my belt on the bike, and the fact of the matter is that it's been brilliant, but I think I'm in serious need of some freaking counselling. 1 second, I'm just going to close the door so the noisy trucks don't get in our way. Cool. Every time I think I've got a handle on the MT-10 and behaving myself, you've seen from all the videos and any owners will know what it's like, something stupid happens and I just act like an idiot. And I know the throttle goes both ways, and I'm supposed to be an adult now. I'm over 40 and be able to control my impulses, but come on this thing, it's so naughty. It's so naughty, it does just urge you on, and then even when you think you've just about got to the point where you can handle it and behave, stupid stuff happens. Just yesterday I was on my way back down this neck of the woods and I was riding along. I was getting a bit of a shift on, but nothing too exciting, and then some guy on, I think he was on a Ducati, kind of came up behind me, and then he was riding a bit close. Now, I'm quite used to riding close with the guys from here, from fast bikes, or going away with other journos, blah, blah, blah. But someone else I don't know riding closest to me just sometimes makes me feel a little bit nervous. So anyway, so he followed me and I came to a roundabout, and we exited a roundabout, and there was 1.5 miles of completely dead straight road. So, me, idiot, MT-10, 1.5 miles dead straight road, you do the math, okay? I felt yay for like 2 seconds and then went, you idiot. So, but I can't help it, and this bike is partly to blame, to be fair. It's just a ridiculous bit of kit, and the worst thing is it's so easy to do all the bad stuff on it. I mean, it is just ridiculously easy, and I've now even got it to the point where I can get it to lift in fourth without touching the clutch. Just a tiny little, almost imperceptible on the bars, and it will come up. And anyway, you know, if there was a proper low power mode, then maybe I'd be able to use that. So I'm not such an idiot. I want to touch on the brakes quickly, since we had it done, because loads of people have said, oh, what about adding braided lines or stuff like that? And I'm partly trying to do the modifications on this bike by not spending, inverted commas, too much money on it. And again, it's 72 or 73 pounds. The Brembo brake pads have, for me, they've transformed the bike. It really is so much better now. Since my last blog, I have had the ABS cut in a little bit, but that's been on really kind of bumpy roads, and that'll happen to any ABS system. And you know, we're lucky there's quite a good ABS system on this, as there are on most reasonably expensive bikes. Although, don't even get me started on compulsory ABS systems on learner beginner bikes that cost £5 because it's supposed to be a safety aid, but the fact of the matter is, they're bloody dangerous a lot of the time, especially if you have to brake hard in a bad situation. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. Braided lines, I'll consider it at some point, but if I'm absolutely being honest, I'm not a huge braided lines fan, not always. It depends on race bikes and stuff. Yeah, but if there's enough power, if I get enough power and feel through here, I don't really then want the sharpness of the braided lines. I much prefer progressive brakes at all points of the lever, rather than something that will sharply stop me first, even if it is then progressive afterwards. And it's another cost to add on, but however, some people have asked about it, so I will consider braided lines, and maybe a change to the master cylinder as well. I've gotten to ride in the wet on the Rosso Corsas now, and they're absolutely fine. As I knew they'd be. They've got plenty of wet weather skill left in them, and again, I'm really I should probably just stop riding this bike. It's going to get me into so much trouble, and I know any owner out there will know exactly what I mean by that. I have got a few other things coming for it, which I might be able to show you in this blog, but if I don't get them in time, then I'll show you them in the next one. I'm going to have some engine protection coming from Yamaha to go on these parts here, and obviously these parts here. I'm going to do some stuff and things. This is when he needs to test ride it afterwards and vanishes for 45 minutes.
Now, I didn't notice this, but a bit there is actually snapped, which I hadn't realised. Is that snapped off there as well? No, it's rubber. That's just rubber. Is the water making it look like a solid bit of plastic? So it's just broken, just there.
Yeah. So you lost your 2 poppers and lost that, and then it's...
Yeah. Well, this one was forever coming off. It was forever coming off. And then God knows where it is
no,
now.
It's not broke.
It's not broken. No, that's just the way it is. Yeah, I think the water's just making it look a bit thingy. Okay. Phew.
It's not broke.
See, that's how it's supposed to be before you start ruining it like me.
That'll be the long one.
That'll be the long one.
So you're riding that every day, that bike?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've done 2,000 miles on it now. I mean, my commute's not particularly long, but I mean, I did go up to Silverstone on it the other day, and yeah, you know, tend to go places on it. The only bummer is it being a naked bike is if you need to get a hurry on the motorway, you can't, otherwise your head falls off. Wow, look at that. All done?
What's that? We got a bleeder.
What, sorry?
We got a bleeder.
Whoa. Oh, hang on, this is to be expected, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's the oil pump behind.
Yeah.
Is it a frame or a beans?
That's alright, it's only a tiny bit of oil. There we go. Stop now here. Nearly. There we go. I've got to say they're pretty cool, really. Very small, very slight. They don't cover the whole thing in some ghastly looking bit of plastic or whatever passes for engine cases these days, but happy with that. That'll do. Brilliant. Right then. So, as Kev's terrified of cameras.
He certainly is.
He is, we're talking to you. Tell us just how well the MT's gone for you guys.
MT range, absolutely fantastic. The MT-10, completely sold out now, unfortunately. Yamaha's still not taking any orders from us. So we are looking at early next year.
Because it was October,
so
I heard.
We have got some models coming through in October, but all our orders that are coming through are all sold.
Yeah.
But they are hinting that it could be into the next year before we get any new models.
I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? Because Yamaha were a little bit kind of stuck in their ways for a few years, and it must have been pretty tough as a dealer. And then obviously the MT-09 and the MT-07.
It's come along fantastic. The model range now is absolutely superb. Every day you have a customer come in saying what a great range Yamaha have got now, and we can appreciate the range. It's absolutely fantastic.
How many more MT-10? I mean, I suppose you could sell a bucket load more of them if you get hold of them.
I think we could, yeah. If we had an open book that we could, I think we would sell more and more and more of them, because they are the performance and the press and the people who've got them already, they're talking about them. They're putting it on the social media, and everybody's interested. They're loving it.
That's true. See, MT-10's like gold dust. Buy one, then sell it for a profit immediately. I'm also going to try it. They've got these handguard things. I don't know if you've seen them. They're an official accessory handguard that comes off there. And I'm kind of in two minds as to whether or not I like this kind of thing. But look, we'll give them a go. We'll see what they're like. If, when we get into the depths of winter, because I don't have heated grips, we get some joy from them because they don't make my little pinkies get too cold, then I'd say that's job done, wouldn't you? What else have we been doing on this thing then? Braided lines. Ooh, modes. Right, that's it, right. I want to talk about engine modes because on the Yamaha they're not really power modes per se, although on the dyno we discovered that there are some slight differences between the modes on the dyno. It's not huge differences in horsepower. As you know, it depends on Yamahas. The way it works is it's how the engine responds to the throttle, mostly. Now, I was tending to ride around a lot in standard or STD, which I can't stop giggling about, quite frankly. Whenever it says STD on the screen, I just think of all those lectures you used to get at school when you were young about wearing a hat and shit. But and while I like standard, it's a good mode. What I don't like, or it's not don't like, is I don't think the engine responds eagerly enough. Now in B mode, it can be a bit jerky on the initial throttle opening. And as you probably see from my last blog, I said about how my first session out on track, new tyres, jerky throttle, excuse me, it actually wasn't particularly nice. And I went back to standard mode for a bit, and then later on in the day I went back to B mode when I got my head around the track and everything, and it was fine. But what I do like about B mode is when the response is immediate. In standard, you can open the gasser and it goes, but there's almost like a little delay. In B mode, you crack open the throttle and it just goes. It really pulls. Now, I really like that part. What I don't like is the part where sometimes you just open the throttle a bit from fully closed and it jerks a bit, and that just and you know, if you're mid-turn or coming out of a turn, that can have a bit of an effect on the suspension. It can get the bike moving kind of a little bit, but with suspension as soft as this is a standard, that's always going to happen anyway. You know, Yamaha have set this up. It's not quite like Aprilia and the Aprilia Tuono, which has got the really expensive suspension, so it manages to be firm and supple at the same time and give you a lovely ride on road or track or whatever. This is more, the MT-10 is more about road. And now I haven't messed about the suspension yet, but I'm going to get, for the next blog, I'm going to get a static suspension setup done up at JHS. So that might make things a little bit sharper. But then again, for general road use, everyday general road use, it's fine. You know, my only concerns, well, it's not a concern, my only complaint, if there is one, is, and when you're just riding this, you don't notice it, but when you go and ride anything else, any other bikes, and you pitch one into a turn, you go, cool, you know. But then you get on this, and then when you get back on this, you realise there is just an initial reluctance. It's slightly just an initial reluctance. That's probably to do with the height here, the softness, the geometry, the fact the rear is so low. And again, you get used to it. Within a few miles, you're back into the MT groove. So it's not huge. It's really not a huge deal. Now, a couple of blogs ago, I promised that I would show you the bike accelerating through the gears on the MT-10 so you could hear what the quick shifter sounds like going bap, bap, bap through the SP Engineering can. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to see this in a second now, or you might not see it because then you're kind of incriminating myself, but you might hear it, or if you'll see it in the next blog. But I will do it. I will actually get round to it. I'm also happy to welcome, you know, I've had so many people ask me so many things about this bike, current owners, people wanting to be owners. If there's anything you want me to try, that I can try, if you want to say, hey, what if you stick this on or stick that on,
if we can get hold of it and the people are happy to lend it to us or to borrow it to us, then I'm happy personally to give it a go, and then I can tell you guys what it's like. It's partly our job here at Fast Bikes to modify the long terms we get, part of the course. So, you know, Yamaha are happy for us to fiddle about so much. I mean, I was thinking about some lightweight wheels, but Christ, I really don't think it needs it. It's not like the front has any trouble flying up, and it already kind of, you know, it already, once you get back used to it, it already pitches side to side perfectly fine without any problems at all. I will be thinking of changing the exhaust soon. I might try one more SP Engineering can. I'm yet to hear back from the guys, but they've got a new one called the Diabolus, which I said I would try out, so I might give that a go. After that, I still think we're waiting for anything official from Yamaha. I think they're out of stock basically because they sold out in Europe, and then Yamaha over here have struggled to get them. And otherwise, then we're going to try M4. Now, M4 are an American brand. They're brought in by JHS, so as we do some stuff with them, it would be a little bit unfair for me to ignore their products. So we're going to go for a similar setup to this, which is a kind of a cone-shaped, the can will be different, it'll be a kind of cone-shaped can, but then with essentially a 2/3 system, just like this, so it does away with the decat. So it'll be interesting to see how that does in comparison with this bike, but at the same time I also do suspect that it'll be roughly similar, because you have to get into the ECU, into the brains of the bike, to really get the best out of it and fiddle with it, and fuel economy and stuff. I'm still waiting to find out how or who we're going to get into the ECU via. Again, it'll be done at JHS, but whether or not it will be done by one company or another who does these kind of things, I don't know right now. But we will, because we want to see, we want to take it, get as much as we can out of it, and an improvement to the fuel economy wouldn't be too bad either. I think that would go down quite nicely, really. So that's it. This is a bit of a quick check-in, to be honest with you, because I realised it was going to be a couple of weeks before I'd put a video up. So for the moment, thanks. Keep getting in touch. Keep putting the comments on YouTube. I'll try to reply to as many as I can. We have got loads of other stuff on, as you can imagine, but I will definitely try to get back. And anything you want us to try on the bike, do it. No stupid suggestions. Well, actually, no, fine. Stupid suggestions are cool, to be fair. We'll consider anything. But in the meantime, stay safe and catch you in the next vlog. Bye.